about the history of modern emergency medicine EMS, you probably picture technology. You know, better defibrillators, faster helicopters.
Sure, that's the common narrative.
But our deep dive today shows the operational start of modern paramedicine. We're talking advanced care in the field. That all began in 1967. And it started in, well, a very unexpected place, Pittsburgh's Hill District.
It's a fascinating story. And to get it, you have to understand just how bad things were before then.
Right. What was the reality?
It was literally called the swoop and scoop. If you had a heart attack, you got thrown into a police paddy wagon or, and this is true, a funeral home hearse. Yeah, no stabilization, nothing, just a fast, often violent ride to the hospital.
And there's that famous indictment from the time, the 1966 white paper.
Oh yeah, it's stark. It basically said that an American soldier wounded in Vietnam had a better shot at survival than a civilian in a car wreck on a U.S. highway.
It's hard to even imagine a system that broken.
Exactly. And that chaos is what led to this really radical solution, the Freedom House Ambulance Service, or FHAS.
The brainchild of Dr. Peter Safar, the father of CPR, and a community leader, James McCoy Jr.
And their idea was to train people from the local community, non-physicians, to perform these incredible life-saving skills.
Okay, but let's just pause on how audacious that was. They were recruiting African-American men from the Hill District.
Many of whom the state had literally classified as unemployable.
Right, so your training men society had written off for a profession that didn't even exist yet. The resistance must have been huge.
Oh, massive. Both medically and politically. So they knew the training had to be, well, perfect. Your typical ambulance driver back then had maybe 8-12 hours of basic first aid.
Okay.
The Freedom House recruits. They went through a grueling 32-week, 300-hour course.
Wow. That's not first aid. That sounds more like a condensed medical school.
It pretty much was. They did rotations in operating rooms, in ICUs. And a key figure here was Dr. Nancy Caroline. She mentored them, rode with him, and she's the one who eventually wrote the book, Emergency Care in the Streets. It's still the foundational textbook for the profession.
So with that level of training, they must have just started rewriting the medical rule book on the street.
They absolutely did. They achieved so many firsts. They performed the very first field intubation by non-physicians.
And for you, the listener, what does that technical step actually mean? Why is that such a big deal?
Well, that's the real difference between basic and advanced life support. Before that, if you couldn't breathe, you basically died on the way to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Intubation meant they could secure your airway, keep you alive.
And it didn't stop there. They also did the first field defibrillation IV drips.
And crucially, EKG telemetry, transmitting heart data from the ambulance to the hospital.
Which is that's a game changer. It means the hospital knows what's coming.
Exactly. The cardiologist can make a diagnosis before the patient even arrives. The results were immediate. They saved over 200 lives in their very first year.
It's incredible and also so tragic because that very success became its downfall.
It did. The service was so good that wealthier neighborhoods started demanding it. But the city administration, under Mayor Flaherty, just saw this independent, black-run service as a threat.
Was it about race?
All of it. They couldn't control it, so they systematically obstructed it. They cut funding, banned them from using sirens.
And then, in 1975, the city created its own EMS bureau.
And on October 15, 1975, Freedom House was dissolved.
And the final injustice. The men who literally invented these protocols were forced to undergo hostile retraining and were then systematically pushed out of the new city service.
Yeah, it was a systematic elimination.
So the organization was destroyed, but the legacy?
The legacy is everywhere. The protocols, the ambulance designs, the entire training curriculum they developed. That became the foundation for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's first EMS standards.
So their work is in every modern ambulance, worldwide.
Worldwide. It just proves that the greatest leap in emergency care came from the people society expected the least from. It proves that opportunity and training, well, they outweigh everything else.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. If the most critical life-saving innovations of the last 50 years were pioneered by men our society labeled unemployable and then deliberately erased from the story for racial reasons, what other foundational truths in science, in technology, anywhere are we getting wrong right now because the real history has been forgotten? Something to think about.